Chapter 4, The Ogwe, wherein the voyager gives extracts from the log of the move, and the eclair, and an account of the voyager's first meeting with those fearful fans, and also an awful warning to all young persons who neglect the study of the French language. On the 20th of May I reached Gaboon, now called Libreville, the capital of Congo Francais, and, thanks to the kindness of Mr. Hudson, I was allowed a passage on a small steamer then running from Gaboon to the Ogwe River, and up it when necessary as far as navigation by steamer is possible. This steamer is, I deeply regret to say, now no more. As experiences of this kind contain such miscellaneous masses of facts, I am forced to commit the literary crime of giving you my Ogwe set of experiences in the form of diary. June 5th, 1895. Off on Mauve at 9:30. Passengers, Mr. Hudson, Mr. Woods, Mr. Huggins, Pierre, Steinitz, and I. There are black-decked passengers galore. I do not know their honorable names, but they are evidently much married men, for there is quite a gorgeous colored little crowd of ladies to see them off. They salute me as I pass down the pier, and start inquiries. I say hastily to them, "Farewell, I'm up off the river," for I notice Mr. Fildes bearing down on me, and I don't want him to drop in on the subject of society interests. I expect it is settled now, or pretty nearly. There is a considerable amount of mild uproar among the black contingent, and the Mauve firmly clears off before half the good advice and good wishes for the black husbands are aboard. She is a fine little vessel, far finer than I expected. The accommodation I am getting is excellent, a long narrow cabin with one bunk in it, and pretty nearly everything one can wish for, and a copying press thrown in. Food is excellent, society charming, captain and engineer quite acquisitions. The saloon is square and roomy for the size of the vessel, and most things, from rowlocks to teapots, are kept under the seats in a good nautical style. We call at the guardship to pass our papers, and then steam ahead out of the Gaboon estuary to the south, round Pongera Point, keeping close into the land. About 40 feet from shore there is a good free channel for vessels, with a light draught, which, if you do not take, you have to make a big sweep seaward to avoid a reef. Between 4 and 5 miles below Pongara, we pass Point Gombe, which is fitted with a lighthouse, a lively and conspicuous structure by day as well as night. It is perched on a knoll close to the extremity of the long arm of low sandy ground, and is painted black and white in horizontal bands, which, in conjunction with its general figure, give it a pagoda-like appearance. Alongside it are a white-painted, red-roofed house for the lighthouse keeper, and a store for its oil. The light is either a flashing or a revolving or a stationary one when it is alight. One must be accurate about these things, and my knowledge regarding it is from information received and amounts to the above. I cannot throw in any personal experience because I have never passed it at night time, and seen from glass it seems just steady. Most lighthouses on this coast give up fancy tricks like flashing or revolving pretty soon after they are established. 75% of them are not alight half the time at all. It's the climate. Gombe, however, you may depend on for being alight at night, and I have no hesitation in saying that you can see it, when it is visible, 17 miles out to sea, and that the knoll on which the lighthouse stands is a grass-covered sand cliff, about 40 or 50 feet above sea level. As we pass round Gombe Point, the weather becomes distinctly rough, particularly at lunchtime. The Mauve minds it less than her passengers, and stamps steadily across past the wooded shore, behind which shows a distant range of blue hills. Silence falls upon the black passengers, who assume recumbent positions on the deck, and suffer. All the things from under the saloon seats come out, and dance together, and play puss in the corner, after the fashion of loose gear when there is any sea on. As the night comes down, the scene becomes more and more picturesque. The moonlit sea shimmering and breaking on the darkened shore, the black forest and the hills silhouetted against the star-powdered purple sky, and, at my feet, the engine-room stokehole, lit with the rose-colored glow from its furnace, showing by the great wood fire the two nearly naked crewmen stokers, shining like polished bronze in their perspiration, as they throw in on to the fire the billets of red wood that look like freshly cut chunks of flesh. The white engineer hovers round the mouth of the pit, shouting down directions, and ever and anon plunging down the little iron ladder to carry them out himself. At intervals he stands on the rail with his head craned round the edge at the sun deck to listen to the captain, who is up on the little deck above, for there is no telegraph to the engines, and our gallant commander's voice is not strong. While the white engineer is roosting on the rail, the black engineer comes partially up the ladder and gazes hard at me, so I give him a wad of tobacco, and he plainly regards me as inspired, for of course that was what he wanted. Remember that whenever you see a man, black or white, filled with a nameless longing, it is tobacco he requires. Grim despair accompanied by a gusty temper indicates something wrong with his pipe, in which case offer him a straightened out hairpin. The black engineer, having gotten his tobacco, goes below to the stoker hole again and smokes a short clay as black as strong as himself. The captain affects an immense churchwarden. How he gets through life, waving it about as he does, without smashing it every 2 minutes, I cannot make out. As we last anchor for the night, just inside Nazareth Bay, for Nazareth Bay wants daylight to deal with, being rich in low islands and sand shoals, we crossed the equator this afternoon.